3, 2, 1. Showtime.
Greetings and good afternoon to all my listeners and viewers out there on Fit FM 96.7, Primal 4K app, Facebook, YouTube. I want to welcome you all to Primal Sports Center. I'm your host, Dale, and alongside me,
I'm Kane the Shrub Watson, and you know what time it is. It's time for Primal Sports Decks, and we have an interesting show today. As you know, we are table tennis people at heart, so
of course,
we go all over the world and talk to people that represent our lovely sport. Although we're analysts on every sport, our home sport is table tennis. So they'll tell us the lineup we have today.
Yes, our guest today will be Neill, 5 times national U.S. champion in table tennis, also 2-time medalist in the Pan Am Games. All right, so and
Plus,
he's also hold on, I'm not finished. And he's also a Hall of Famer in the United States.
Also a top coach.
Yes.
So, but before we give away everything, later on in the show he break down his career.
Exactly 5 minutes.
Yeah, in around 4 minutes or so we'll break down his career from where he started to playing, where he ventured into coaching to where he is now, because we know in the States now they're doing big things over there, starting a major league table tennis competition, which I find quite interesting. And I mean, back in my heyday, I think I would have loved to go that side and play some table tennis. Be a part of that. But even so, growing up in table tennis, I always heard the name Neill and Danny Seamill and all these great American players. So for me to sit back and listen to him while I interview him will be an honor for me.
Yeah, and you remember that Neill's name was on all the rackets.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, who's this Neill? Growing up, be like, oh, Neill. Like, oh.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
so, a bit older than me,
But first, Kane, I have to give a big shout out to the past students of Jose Marte High School here in Jamaica. They called me to do a presentation on Wednesday to introduce the sport of table tennis, along with presenting a table to the school. So, I have to big up the class of 1983.
Done by Jose Marte.
Spanish Town.
I have to go have a word with Peter because you're doing things under the quiet and you don't bring us in.
No, this was on behalf of Peter. This was on the behalf.
Yeah, but when it goes to table tennis, me and Peter should know everything that's going on. Yeah, the originals.
That is true. But it was a last minute call, and I was glad. I went there and presented the table and we opened so the program itself.
Nice.
And one of the things that I said to the students, because this was in the devotion in the morning, everybody was in front of the whole school and principals and teachers. I told them that table tennis is not just a sport in terms of us playing, but it also helps in the classroom. Yeah. Because of the level of concentration and the focus and the discipline that you have to have. Not really have to have, the game force you to have it, in other words. And
table tennis is dubbed the physical chess. So it works every motor skills. Your brain, your coordination, everything. So it applies to all walks of life, not only in the classroom. So I mean,
and I was even speaking to some of the footballers and the basketball. I was telling them that you don't have to be a professional table tennis player. You can just come and you can pass around and it will help you also in the sport that you take seriously. You can come as recreational and still it can enhance certain attributes. Along with the class. And that's why I keep saying that. Table tennis, this is one of the reasons why I tell people that table tennis is the mother sports of all sports, because of the elements and the attributes. It covers all phases.
So why is it not the father sport? Why is it the mother sport?
Because mother is more nurturing. So in other words,
I'm not knocking. I'm just wondering the term.
I would just say because a mother to a child is more nurturing. They're the ones who nurture
in that initial stage.
So I keep telling them that's what table tennis can do for you. As a big footballer, as a basketball player, it can help with reflexes. As I said, the cognitive function.
Because even when I look in some of these top EPL clubs, there was a very good table tennis board everywhere. Every not EPL clubs all over. Other sports, you see. And
you wonder why, right?
You see people, Michael Jordan or you see David Beckham or Cristiano Ronaldo playing table tennis because Roger Federer. So every sport is linked to table tennis in some form or way where top athletes find a way to enjoy it. So as I say, you don't have to be a professional or a world champion, but I mean, it helps with even Brian Lara. I think Brian Lara said
he played cricket.
Table tennis helps with cricket. Table tennis.
And Marlon Samuels, our big cricketer here in Jamaica, represented the West Indies. former KC old, but he played some table tennis as well at KC, you know. Not seriously, but, you know, everybody passed through the sport at some time.
And even when I play other sports, people wonder, oh, you can play, man. But I attest that to me playing so much table tennis. So when it comes to hand-eye coordination or playing with a ball or anything, I adapt quicker because of
the
table tennis.
sport.
I think you're onto something. I think you need to write a book. Write a book on that one. Table tennis, the mother sport of all sports.
And the big thing, the thing about table tennis is that a 3-year-old kid, 4-year, 5-year-old kid can play table tennis and develop these attributes early. People will come at me and say, "Oh, NASCAR racing is this and that." But I'm saying, you drive a NASCAR at 4 or 5 years old. No, you can't.
No.
So table tennis is a sport that is developing all.
Even at age, you have people in their 80s still playing table tennis.
Exactly my point.
90s. Yeah.
Senator Somerville was a big table tennis player. He's now a big race car driver.
So table tennis is for people of all walks of life, size, age, gender. You name it, you can play table tennis. As I said, you don't have to be world champion, but
and
to get running.
There's facts out there to prove the brain part of it.
Yeah, man, it gets your brain moving. The people,
the scientists still researching in terms of dementia and Alzheimer's. So it's still out there, but table tennis is that sport that I believe that should be in every basic school. You don't have to be a professional. It should be something like sports day. You know, you take part in it now. Like Lyman Spoon race. Yeah, something that you take part in at some time in your school career. You know, every school, every prep school, every primary school, every basic school, they should have table tennis.
And one of the best things I like with table tennis is that it's indoor. So there's no excuse for it not to be played. So I mean, whether it's raining, whether it's sunny, I mean, in a hurricane, you name it.
I'll tell you this, Kay. I don't think you know this. I couldn't learn in second form and first form. And so when I started playing table tennis, like things started to open up for me.
You turn a physicist.
Of course. I started passing all my physics exam. Chemistry was like a joke thing now. No man, it opened up a like different section of your brain. But let us
I was born brilliant, so that's why I played table tennis. I was born brilliant. Yes, but
all right. But now, Primal Sports fans, let us know. Welcome to Primal Sports, the 5-time national U.S. table tennis champion, 2-time Pan Am gold medalist, Hall of Famer, Sean Neill. Welcome.
Great to be with you guys.
All right, Sean. We're going to kick things off. You heard us talking about table tennis and, how it can help us. But before we dive into that, where did it all start for you with table tennis?
It was a family sport with me. My father played as a 15-year-old in Ohio. So when I was, maybe 7 or 8, we had a table in the basement, and it was one of those father-son type of things to do. So because he had played in tournaments, there was a lot more focus on holding the racket correctly, learning a forehand and a backhand. And eventually it led to us going to a local table tennis club in Virginia. And I think that transitioning from a basement, even though my dad could play, but to an actual club, that made the biggest difference, because all of a sudden I saw other players, other styles. I was the youngest kid. I was like 8, 9 years old. The average age was like 21 to 25. But that was really where I saw, like, this is something cool that I was doing that the other kids in my school, because we didn't have table tennis in the schools, was doing. So it kind of helped set me apart a little bit as people started knowing I was going to tournaments, having a coach live with me, which was really unheard of in 1977. Had a live-in coach, and very good player from Thailand. And I would train with him minimum of an hour and a half to 2 hours a day. And we also did a lot of physical, even as like a 4th grader. I would go running with him 3 to 4 times a week, up to like 2 or 3 miles. So his Asian training went directly into me. So I started taking it as a sport more so than a hobby. And because the US is so small with the number of juniors when I was playing, today it's great. But when I was playing, there was only a handful of kids. So as long as you put the time in, you were in the running for the medals.
Yeah. So from an early age, you had a coach from Thailand. So how did that transition to playing to the top level of players all across America at that age?
Yes. So at that time, the big names were Danny C. Miller. This was even before Eric Bogan. He was still a junior. So Danny was the name. Danny was a full-time professional player, kind of the Jimmy Connors of
Yeah.
table tennis in the US. And everyone wanted to beat Danny and be like Danny. And these two, I had one player from Thailand living at my house. He was a little bit below Danny, but his doubles partner or his kind of business partner, Charlie Wuvanich, he was very close to Danny. So they used to have a great rivalry. But in the summer times, I would go to their camp in Minnesota, literally immerse myself and play sometimes 7, 8 hours a day. And I just loved it. I just thought it was the absolute best thing. We would do physical training. We would do calisthenics. We'd do multi-ball. We would play tournaments on a nightly basis. We'd do drills. We'd do meditation. So I was just sold right from the outset as a 9-year-old. Like, this is something that I want to become good at. And everything that you guys mentioned in the intro, completely true. What a great sport for kids, for senior citizens, for kids who aren't active, kids who want to be active. Getting that focus, that concentration, that problem solving is really the key that I think is why it should be in all schools, because it teaches you that spin, speed, how to deal with all the different dimensions. So yeah, I've always loved it, and I've just been so fortunate to have met so many great people along the way.
Yeah.
Or speaking of people that you met along the way, you know, I have you have a couple past players here been asking me to ask you a lot of questions, but tell us about your Jamaican connections.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So it all started in '83, Caracas, Pan Am Games.
Perfect.
Jamaica beats USA in the men's team event, knocks us out of the medal round.
All right, Sean, hold on, Sean. The coach wanted the coach had sent me to ask you the question and want to hear repeat it loud.
Okay, so going into the match, we were the heavy favorite. Yeah. And because we didn't really understand how vocal and how intense Pan Am table tennis could be with the Dominicans, the Jamaicans, the Chileans, the Argentinians. I mean, we knew Canada because they're close. But when we got our butts kicked by Jamaica, we were like, dudes, we're not going to medal here. What's going on? I think it was probably, I want to say I might have lost to Colin McNeish. I think I might have lost all my matches. I mean, we probably lost 5-2. My connection with like Randy Fagan, David Marshallek, Colin McNeish, Stephen Hilton. And with Stephen, it's really amazing because I moved to Sweden after high school, and he was playing in Stockholm for a club called Bele. And we used to practice in the same club in Stockholm called Angby. And Stephen, just a wonderful practice partner, friend. We would have training sessions all the time. And I've tried to keep in touch with him and his daughter's tennis career through Facebook. But then I come back to the States after losing in '83 in the team event. Luckily, I got the mixed doubles in Caracas with a female who was totally dominant in the Pan Ams, Insuk Bushan. We won the mixed doubles down there. So I came home with a medal, or actually a gold medal. So I felt pretty good. And I think in the men's doubles, Brian Masters, who eventually won the singles, we took a bronze in the men's doubles. So coming back to the States, I know my Jamaican friends with Steven, especially from Sweden, but then being close friends with Dino Biles and his brother Ernie was living in DC, and we used to practice at my house every after work when I was taking classes at George Mason University, and then also coaching amongst the top coaches in the US with Ernest Virgo. So there's been like a huge connection and a lot of, I'm going to say respect, a lot of collaboration that Jamaica table tennis was something to be reckoned with, because no way are you going to go out there and just get a W. They were going to fight for every single point, no free rallies. It was going to come down to who wanted it more, and they were always competitive. I think I played ever under 2,600 rated event at the US Open. So I'm always aware, and same with Michael Hyatt as well, a very strong player. Keith Evans was another person who not only did I play at when I was a junior, but then we collaborated for the US Paralympic team in London and in Rio for the Pan Ams and the Paralympics. So I've always had a nice relationship. I think it's true with all the countries, whether it's Sweden or Korea or Brazil. But Jamaica's always been pretty special.
Yeah.
Yes.
From on that onset from 1983 moving
You
forward
can
till
tell
now.
it's still affecting me today. I mean, those matches,
Yeah.
still having
Yeah.
trouble dealing with the defeat, but I want to give credit to the team that stepped up and played their best.
Yeah.
Who was your toughest Jamaican opponent?
You know, I would say probably Heath, because we played a lot when I was an up and coming junior. And we
Okay.
were always in those rating events in the US.
Mm.
And even when we played in like the over 30s or the over 40s, he still knew my game. He still knew exactly, as a lefty, he's moving me out to my forehand. I'm
Yeah.
trying to get it out to his forehand. And I just found it was so rewarding
Yeah.
knowing his work at Texas Wesleyan
Yes.
University with their program, to then having him jump into junior and cadet coaching. He was the national cadet coach of USA Table Tennis. And I shared players with him, and then finally going to the Paralympics and having him come to be one of the main coaches there. So I think while we were super competitive, we also showed that we could work really well together.
Yes.
Yeah, good. That's
Your,
good.
your biggest achievement as a player?
Um,
Or should I
Should I
can
say
rephrase it, or the most memorable?
most memorable? Because
Yeah.
Yeah,
what you hold on to as that defining moment of your career, that it could be a loss, it could be a victory, but something
Yeah.
that lasts through the times in your mind
So
as
I think the most significant is making the '88 Olympic team. I was the only
Yeah.
American male that qualified, and the amount of doors that it opened and the opportunity to be an influencer, especially with kids and with people outside the sport. When you say you're in the Olympics and when you tell them what it was like, whether it's opening ceremonies or a tough match there, or getting to meet the dream team in '92 in Barcelona, like, oh, what was Jordan like? What was Ewing like? What was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Barkley like? Those are
Mm.
fun stories to tell. I was very fortunate to live at the Olympic Training Center. So a lot of the players that represented us in the '88 and '92 games, which I participated in, they would all come through, and developing those relationships. I think one match was probably in '91 in Havana when Diana G and I won the mixed doubles. So I'd won it in '83 with Insuk.
Mhm.
'87, Diana and I were the runner up to Insuk and Kwa Win. And then '91, we got our title back. And to have the US national anthem played in Havana in a stadium that had about 3,000 people, it was about 110 degrees. It was so hot. You were just drenched. It was that memory of then getting the medals on the award ceremony, on the award platform with a mixed doubles partner. I think that was probably the one I'll remember the most. But making the Olympics, just the doors it opened. And again, I love to coach, and then it led obviously later on to Paralympic coaching, which is a very rewarding element as well.
All right. So yeah, tell us how you got into coaching. When did coaching all start for you? Because I know as a player, I mean, to transition to a coach sometimes you still play, but you start coaching, but then I mean, you become a coach.
For me, it was real easy because as a professional player in Europe playing in Sweden, it was a full-time job. I treated it as a job. I would wake up at 6, I would do my running, road work, come in, have a 2-hour practice session, take a break for lunch, maybe take a nap, do another 2 to 3 hours of training. Then in the evening, do video tape analysis, maybe serve practice, maybe dealing with some marketing or some sponsorship issues. So in '96, when the US team was selected for Atlanta, I did not make that team. And that was my last competition, the US tryouts. And I say last competition, meaning one that I seriously trained for. I would still play for fun at small tournaments, but that was my last tournament. And it was just a natural progression to say, I've been given all this knowledge, all this coaching as a youngster. It'd be really a shame for it all to just stop with me. So I started coaching the juniors, the cadets, and then that eventually led to the Paralympic national team for the Athens, Beijing, and London games. So that to me was, again, just an amazing opportunity to share with. We had a very strong women's team with Pam Fontaine and Tara. We had Mitch Seidenfeld, Tal Leibovitz, a lot of players that I have a really strong relationship with and keep in touch with them on a weekly basis. Thank God to Facebook. But for me, the coaching has always been helping build confidence in the players, regardless of their age, and helping them to accomplish their goals, knowing that it always is easier when you've got an extra person cheering for you and on your team.
Yeah. So let me ask you this question: which one you find more difficult, playing or coaching?
Oh, coaching's way more difficult.
Oh, I tell people that all the while. I prefer to play than coach because I start coaching myself now because I'm on the back end of my career and I'm more venturing into coaching. But trust me, coaching is difficult.
Well, you can call timeouts, right? So that's good. You call timeouts. You can encourage, but when a person starts to do a serve or motion that you know doesn't make sense, there's nothing you can do. But you just have to treat some of those losses as learning opportunities and just share that passion, share the excitement, and let the athlete know that, you know what, no matter how the match goes, we got another tournament or another league or another match tomorrow. There's always that next opportunity. So I take the losses a little bit tough when my players come up short, but at the same time, it's really rewarding to have a career that I played from 76 to 96. So 20 years in the sport was plenty for me, being nervous about my next opponent, but then going from 96 through today to coach, especially on the para side. I've got a couple players here in Portland, Oregon, where I live, that I'm working with. It's just really, really rewarding, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Yeah. So what's your overall philosophy in coaching? Like
the foundation, the basis of is it technique? Is it attitude? Is it because I find myself where it's difficult to coach because I have a problem when I even coach the younger kids to let them respect the sport, but yet still, there's difficulty, not so much in technique because, you've been exposed to technique as you're a player and you go over the world, but I find that in coaching is to get them mentally in tune and want to play, but yet still not force them to say, oh, you have to play.
That's such a huge challenge to teach them self-motivation, basically, to teach them to want to win or to teach them to want to be a competitor, not being afraid to go out, whether it's the final match in a team match or whether it's a timeout and it's 9-9 and they're coming back for advice. And my line is, this is where you want to be. Yeah. This is why we train. Yeah. This is the situation that if you're down 9-0 or 9-9, let's be in that 9-9 situation. Yeah. But I would say the foundation is attitude. Yeah. It's goal setting so that we have a clear path of what we're trying to accomplish, not doing things that are so outside the realm of possibility, but nice manageable steps. Technique for me, although I don't find it difficult to teach, I like the tactics and the strategy and trying to make your opponent play like their B or C game. That to me is where the real fun begins, is coming up with strategies and then saying to your player, hey, you might play this guy 10 times and you might only beat him once or twice. Let's make this next match that once or twice, because you're not going to beat somebody every single time. It's just not going to, the sport is too dynamic where somebody can be a little bit off, but hard work, great attitude, good sportsmanship, believe in yourself, and most importantly, have a lot of fun. Enjoy what you're doing. Because if you're not loving it and you're not having fun, do something else. It's too stressful to go out there and have to deal with the opponent, their coaches, the fans, the size of the tournament, that you need to really enjoy the battle. You need to have fun.
Sean, you probably don't know the answer to this, but I've been asked to ask you. Can you give us an update on what's happening with Kanak Ja? Kanak is the best player you've produced in the last several years, and we in Jamaica want to know what's happening with Kanak.
Sure. So what happened was last December, he was suspended for 1 year for missing 3 out-of-competition drug tests. So there was no question that it wasn't due to doping. It was his time scheduling, putting into every athlete on the national team and the Olympic team in their phone through USADA and WADA. They have to update their whereabouts because there's out of competition testing. So he had 1, there was a mistake, and then 2, there was some other fumblings. So because they have to keep the rules consistent, they can't say, well, for track and field, we're going to be sticklers, but for table tennis, it's going to be easy. So in December, he'll be eligible again. I believe our national team tryouts, which will be our kind of pre-qualifications for Olympics for singles and the team, will be in January. So he should be fine for that.
That's really where I was going as well. I was going to ask you if he will be able to try out for Olympics, because he's, along with Calderano, he's probably one of the 2 or 3 best people in this half of the world.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And I just hope that he's been able to keep up his training during this pause where he hasn't had a chance to play as many competitions. But yeah, I think December 1st or December 2nd, everything gets taken care of and he should be back into action. And
Okay.
right now, obviously, you guys know the Pan Am Games are taking place down in
Right.
Santiago. The table tennis starts next week. And there'll be some great competition down there. And unfortunately, we won't have Canuck down there battling for gold, silver, and bronze.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So tell us about this the big movement that you have now in the States in terms of the professional
Major
league,
league,
the
yeah.
major league.
Yeah, so thank goodness. I never thought it would happen during my lifetime, but a gentleman named Flint Lane out of Princeton, New Jersey, sold his company, retired, loves the sport, said, why don't we have a league in the US? And it's been on everyone's mind since the 70s. Why don't we have one? And it really took somebody with Flint's vision and his resources to put together a team concept to have it be big enough to where the top European players and players from Asia, as well as the top US players, Amy Wong, Lily Zhang, Nikhil Kumar, I'm guessing that Canuck might play in it. Canuck plays professionally in Germany. I mean, he's got a great record in Germany. But to bring right now, we have two divisions, an East Coast with 4 teams, a West Coast with 4 teams. They play amongst themselves. They have an intercross match coming up December 1st through 3rd in Carolina. And it's basically the old Corbellian Cup, right? Or Davis Cup, singles, singles, doubles, singles. And the wrinkle that Flint created was we have this thing called the golden game, where everyone on each team will go out and play 4 points to a game to 21 at the end of the best of 5.
Yeah.
And if
Creative,
you are
yeah.
losing after the best of 5, let's say my team is beating you 5-0, I start out with a 5-0 advantage to represent that I was the dominant team. You play to 21 and the winning team gets 6 points for their team. And each of the individual games, here's another wrinkle. You play 3 games, not the best of 3. You play 3 games. So if I'm up 2-0, you've got to have that fight to fight that 3rd game. Otherwise, I get a free point. So every game you win, you get 1 point for your team. So at the end of those 5 first matches, there's 15 points on the line. And then the golden game has 6 points. So you can go to the YouTube channel. It's just Major League Table Tennis, and you can see, and the standings and the stats. We've got great French players. We've got great players from Japan, Swedes, players from all over Europe.
There's even one guy from Barbados in it. We'd like to give him a shout out as well.
Tyrese is playing amazing. He played super up in Santa Cruz. He took some big points for the Portland Paddlers, which is kind of my hometown club that I'm cheering for. So we want to definitely add more and more players from the Americas. We've got some Canadians with Jeremy Hazine, but we need to get some Jamaicans. We need to get some Brazilians. But
we have one good guy from Jamaica, but we need to get him to lose about 20 pounds.
and then 40 pounds. So, and also every team has to have a female playing in the competition. So they could go into the mixed doubles, they could play in singles, but then they play in the golden game. So if you like Matilda Ekholm from Sweden, she's playing in it. We've got, again, Lily Zhang, Amy Wong, Rachel Sung, all of our top players are benefiting from not having to go to Europe if they don't want to. A stateside league makes such a difference for those players like myself who would get a bit homesick playing abroad in Europe.
One criticism though, Sean, I like the deuce. Why you guys got rid of the deuce?
You know, we're having some internal discussions about that. They thought that it would help with the timing because they're like, what happens if a game goes like 22-20? And I'm like, well, that would be crazy. That would be great. But there's some thought of some finality, but I'm going to take your thoughts and pass them on and let them know that, hey, there's people out there that are asking, where did the deuce go? So,
fine.
Don't like changes, eh? But so it's safe to say that table tennis is growing in America currently.
Oh, absolutely. There is so many things that are happening right now. When I look at Major League Table Tennis, when I look at like Spin New York, I look at Ping Pod, I look at USA Table Tennis, I look at our junior programs and our cadets. everything is on the right direction. Everything's moving forward. There's so much more, so many more options for that serious player than I ever had in the 80s and 90s. The ITTF and World Table Tennis, their World Tour and their feeders and their junior program. I mean, it's just wonderful. And we've right now in the US probably, I would say close to 100 full-time clubs. When I played, there was one or two. I mean, you would play and you'd set up the tables and you'd tear them down, and bingo or poke or bridge or something else would come into the hall. Now we've got these freestanding clubs, whether it's the 888 club where Tyrese plays in the Bay Area, or ICC, or Westchester Club in New York with Will Shorts. Maryland Table Tennis still has a good. Broward has the World Veterans coming up in Florida. Texas, Houston Table Tennis, HEDA, the academy down there with Manny, they're doing a great job. So we see pockets all over of as much action that I had as a player being done regionally. So I'm really looking forward to where the sport will be in the next 2 to 5 to 10 years.
Yeah, I think it's important that the sport develop and grow in the United States, because face the fact, US is what everybody this side of the world, well, the whole world kind of look to America. So I think it's important for the sport of table tennis to grow. And what about the universities and scholarships? As I know is there scholarships available in university?
Texas Wesleyan University still is the place to go. They've got a wonderful program. They've got 2 players in Major League Table Tennis, one from Sweden, one from Sri Lanka. So Texas Wesleyan, full-time program, amazing, run by Yasna Rather, Olympic bronze medalist from the 88 games in women's doubles. She does a tremendous job. She also works with the para for USA Table Tennis. So she is completely every day, like 12 hours of table tennis related stuff. Another thing that the schools are doing, there's a National Collegiate Table Tennis Association where over 200 schools get together for nationals and regional competitions. And a lot of our best juniors are using table tennis on their resume to get into the Berkeleys, the Harvards, the Yales. And that's something that the parents really are willing to put resources into training their youngsters, because they're seeing that they can upgrade the colleges that they're going to when they say they were a member of the U.S. national team. Because they're like, oh, you had that level of dedication. Oh, you played in the Pan Am Junior Championships, or you played in the World Junior Championships. So the colleges are moving forward. Great job with NCTTA. USA Table Tennis continues to have good growth in memberships and tournaments. State championships are now becoming a real big thing. World Table Tennis, as you guys follow, it's doing so much more than the ITTF did 10 or 15 years ago. I mean, you can watch live stream and all that. And hopefully with, again, Major League Table Tennis in the US, the one thing I will say that's different about MLTT, we've got owners for the teams. Off-Churoff Dima bought in ownership of the New Jersey or the Princeton Revolution.
That's good. You knew that?
Manu Ginobili of the San Antonio Spurs is a owner of the Miami Crocs or the Florida Crocs. So this is something that we've never seen. We've got new resource channels coming in and helping the teams now begin to blow up, so that it's not the association saying, well, we can't afford to send the juniors and the cadets and the national team to this event. You've got team owners who can say, hey, I want to buy that player, or I want to trade that player, or hey, we're going to fly the entire team to this match because I don't want to leave anyone at home, because it's a team effect. So I think what Flint Lane has done has completely been a game changer, because now you've got new resources coming in at the team level. And that's what works with Major League Baseball, NBA, NFL. That's what's different. Owners. Because they've got additional pockets.
So next up is ESPN. Seeing table tennis on ESPN.
Okay, so Bally's Live just signed an agreement with Major League Table Tennis. So if you download the Bally's Live app, you can watch it there. There will probably be betting. And I know that we are positioning ourselves to be an ESPN, or there's so many networks out there, whether it's Netflix, whether it's Amazon Prime. We will get there. There's no question in my mind. But I think we need some Jamaicans in the league. Make it fun, like '83. Get that winning spirit going.
I like that, Sean.
I think I might dust off my racket.
Yeah, I think
get back in some training.
Yeah, reglue the rubber, maybe change the Tenergy out for something a little bit more
I'm sticking with Tenergy. I'm sticking with
or
Tenergy.
something. But no, I think that right now we're entering a new phase of table tennis where the opportunities at the international level, but as you guys said, at the US level, they're just so much bigger than they've ever been. So I'm thrilled to be part of it from a coaching or maybe a commentary. I help do commentary for Major League Table Tennis. That to me is a chance for me to be a fan, for me to celebrate the players and kind of get excited when I see great shots.
Yeah.
Nice.
So anything you want to touch on that we didn't ask you?
Okay, so one other thing that's somewhat new that many people aren't thinking about, the virtual reality world where people put the headsets on. There's a game called 11 Table Tennis, and I've been playing it like a madman for the last 2 to 3 months. And it allows me to have friends from Canada, from Detroit, from Miami to Brazil. And we're getting all that fun benefit. The game is so realistic. You guys have to try it. Get a headset. Meta makes one called Oculus Quest. You can get a 2 or 3 just came out, but it is so realistic. And you can play all your shots, top spin, underspin, serve, dead balls. And the cool thing about it is the community. So when I'm playing against you, you're in Kingston, I'm in Portland, Oregon. It doesn't matter. We can have friends from wherever join us. So I think maybe 5 and 10 years down the road, you'll see players that will actually kind of maybe do a little bit of both because it's a blast. It's fun. It's not that expensive. You can get a headset for a couple $100. The game is very inexpensive to download. There's 1 million downloads of it already. There's over 100,000 people that play regularly. It's big in France. It's big in South America. It's big in Japan and China. So that's kind of the one new thing along with Major League Table Tennis that I've really kind of every day I'm thinking, okay, who am I going to play today? They've got a rating system, so you can move up and do that.
Nice.
So they have tournaments. They have tournaments with zero entry fee, prize money, and if you go into the main arena, the table that you're playing on is a table. So it's going to change the.
Sounds like
we're gonna look it up.
Sounds like I have to get fit to play it.
You absolutely do. And I thought I could win matches standing still. Wrong. You've got to move because it's tracking you. So if they serve short to your forehand and then play deep to your backhand, you better cover that same distance because it's a simulation. It is real. So there's a lot of excitement there. But no, I just what you guys said at the beginning. Table tennis has so much appeal across all sports, cross training, good for kids, good for seniors, and literally everyone in between. And we're just seeing that community continuing to get built and stronger. So I'm thrilled that I could share some of my excitement with you guys. Definitely still feel the pain of my first match in Caracas. But I'll get over it because I've got friends like Keith and Dino and Ernie and Ernest. So it's just a lot of fun being involved in table tennis at the moment.
All right, Sean. Before we go, any tips for coaches and young players?
I would say for young players, play a lot. Do not focus on your losses. Get excited about your wins. Realize that you're not going to win every match, nor are you going to lose every match. For coaches, try to put yourself in the shoes of your players. Realize that they want to do the best that they can, not only for their family, for their club, for their country, but also for you as the coach. So give them that encouragement so that they can play without stress. And then regardless of the outcome, just continue to work hard, have a good time, and take advantage of all what the sport can give you.
Okay, well said. Well said. All right. So thank you very much for sharing your experience and knowledge about the sport of table tennis.
Right. And I mean, I guess we'll check in probably next year with what the experience of Major League Table Tennis and how far it can go. And I'm sure, I mean, you're part of the Primal team now, so you're one phone call away, and we'll keep tabs on what's going on with you. I mean, I know your coaching career and all what's going on there. And again, thank you for taking the time out. And I mean, enough respect, Sean and Neill.
You're part of our Facebook page?
Yep. Following So
Yeah,
so
yeah,
anytime,
yeah.
maybe after the midpoint in the season, we can do a little update, let you know where everyone's going.
Would love that. Would love that, Sean.
But if
We
yeah,
love
if
that.
we could keep you guys in the loop and let you guys know how things are going, just have a great time.
All
All right.
right. All right.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you, Sean.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Our people, that was 5 times national table tennis champion of America, Sean O'Neill.
Yeah.
And
Also,
2
director
times-
of Table Tennis Development USA as well.
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Man with many hats.
Yeah, coaching
Yes.
Paralympic teams.
Yeah.
I mean, the accolades are all there, and I mean,
Yeah, well deserved too, you know. Nice guy.
table tennis is a part of his life, so
Yeah.
I mean,
Of course.
yeah,
Well
and I'm
deserved.
sure big and better things are even ahead. Because
All
I said,
right.
we love what's going on there in America for table tennis.
True. Props
All right,
USA.
people. It's time for the controversial one.
Controversial.
Well,
All
I
right.
feel sad
Your time,
after
Peter.
having greetings, people. After having listened to Sean O'Neill about how positive things are in the USA, then unfortunately, my section we gotta come back to Jamaica. Where all the mud and the muck and the you know. Anyway, you guys saw that reggae girls they're having a coaching issue at the moment, and they weren't paid for some bonuses that they would have won. And the girls decided that they will not play the Gold Cup qualifiers. I don't know the numbers, but many have decided that they won't play. And as a reprisal, as a punishment, the JFF has decided that you want to leave the team? Well, we're going to suspend you. It's like when I run a company and somebody say, hey, listen, I'm going to resign. I say, resign what? You're fired. You understand what I'm saying? So it really is sad what's happening with the JFF. But at the same time, I think the reggae girls, I'm sorry, people say I beat up the reggae girls a lot. We're going to beat on them a little bit. Your bonuses can wait. Some of you, you know what I mean? The JFF is not screwing you on purpose. Sometimes the money, cash flow is hard to manage. And we know that the girls would have wanted the coach, which would be the real issue. What's the name of the coach that just
Xavier Gilbert.
No man.
Before Lauren Donaldson.
Lauren. We know that the girls would have wanted if Lauren's contract was extended and all this. And we know that's where probably the real issue is coming from. And there were some other latent issues and so on. But it can't have to do with the payment of the bonuses. Some of these girls playing for big clubs. And this little bonus not going to make a big difference. And I ask a question. Bunny Shaw, you too? Is Bunny Shaw going to withdraw from representing our country? You know, you have Captain America in America. Bunny Shaw is Captain Jamaica or whatever it is, Miss Jamaica. Bunny Shaw. You're going to not play for Jamaica because the bonuses are a little late? I find that a little bit tasteless because a lot of these girls owe their international life, the club life, to the fact that you played for reggae girls and you were seen by a scout. You know, it really is sad that we're stooping to the level where we're having industrial action, embarrassing us in the face of things there. And then what we're going to do? Not qualify for Gold Cup? It's going to hurt the nation. It's going to hurt the country. So last week I was hyping up big UFC match, Oliveira rematch Makachev. I remember telling you guys that when I looked at what would Oliveira do different, because he was choked out by Makachev last time. You guys have to understand, I sit down and dream tactics, you know. And I'm saying, what is Oliveira going to do? Is he going to lead with left leg and then try to trip him? And you know, I couldn't figure out what Oliveira did different. Neither could Oliveira, because Oliveira developed an injury. He got a cut and he pulled out of the fight. So there's no fight tonight. And that's bad news. But the news is that the rematch between Volkanovski and Makachev is the replacement fight. Greater fight, believe it or not. The only problem is I saw the matchup today when the two men faced off. Makachev towers over Oliveira. Over Volkanovski. Volkanovski is a little dwarf man. 5'3", 5'4". You know, the height and size difference and weight difference, because they will have almost 15 hours of rehydration. And that means that Makachev will have gained more weight and more power, which is what he used to win the previous fight with Volkanovski, because he was very close and Volk hasn't gotten any bigger. So unfortunately, that's the only thing, that pound for pound, yeah, but this guy have a lot more pounds. You know, pound for pound, they're about equivalent, but Makachev is a bit too big for him, in my opinion. So my money is still with Makachev on this fight. Another even more interesting fight is the Kamaru Usman versus Khamzat Chimaev fight. And I think that last week I was leaning Usman, and when I saw the face-off, I have to admire Chimaev's confidence. Chimaev looking at him and almost laughing at him and say, "Your time done in the boss. Time you're gonna coach." You know, and I believe him. I believe him. When I saw the look of Khamzat, and Khamzat is not going to be careful. I think Khamzat is going to walk through Usman, because Usman looked a little soft to me. I didn't see the vascularity. I didn't see the like he was training as hard as he should be for a fight. And so I think that my money switched from last week. And you guys who normally bet with me, because, you know, I have a close to 100% record in UFC. Tony, there's a big fight them have in Jamaica coming up called Razor Ruddock versus James Toney. You might remember Razor Ruddock fought with Mike Tyson 20, 30 years ago. And he's fighting against James Toney, who was an outstanding middleweight 30, 40 years ago. And these two old men, one is 60 and the other one is 50 odd. They will come out of their strollers and wheelchairs to go and fight in Jamaica, rumble in the sun. Is that what comes to my Lord? I mean, you know, I remember one time, rumble in the sun, them called. I remember one time.
like a festival.
I remember one time, there was you know, you have like Michael Jackson and Whitney Houston and all these artists. You ever notice them only come Jamaica when 50 years gone, we get in, you know, Benny King. we getting, you know, Ray Charles. After the man, them career done long time. Come on, people, we can do better than that. Yes, this is more than what left. This is crumbs. Ruddock and James Toney. I don't know who went pay for that ticket. Maybe we might end up go watch it still. Now, when I'm playing a table tennis match and I'm leading my opponent 11 love, should I give a mercy point?
10 love.
Or should I, when I'm leading my opponent 10 love, should I give the opponent a point? I was going to ask Sean and Neill. Because the Japanese seem to have changed that, where this Japanese girl, not Hirano, the one before Hirano, started to give people 11 love on purpose. Because it is the thought that the Chinese started this business of you beat a man 10 love, you give him a point. But the Japanese girl says that's an insult. In order to respect your opponent, you should play as hard right from the start and give 11 love. I don't know what your guys' feeling is on it, but I have a little story. I was at the World Championship 2008, playing some of the best table tennis of my life, Guangzhou, and we were playing against Kazakhstan. Daryl Strong was on the Jamaica team at the time, and Daryl's opponent was beating him to a pulp.
Sri Lankan.
It was Sri Lanka? Yeah, I don't remember the match.
I don't think it was 08 either.
Well, it might have been 10. The numbers might be wrong, but the story is true. So anyway, Daryl, the guy had Daryl 10 love, and his coach was a great German coach. I think it was either Pearson or Fetzner was the coach for that country. And at 10 love, the coach said, "Don't give him 11 love. Do not embarrass the Jamaican. Ease him up." So the guy gave...
That's 2 all, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. The guy looked at Daryl and said, "Give him a point." And the coach said, "Give him the point." Gave him the point. Mm-hmm. And guess what happened? Daryl Strong started to win point after point after point after point until he got to 10-8. And the guy was so nervous now, he was stiff like a board. And Daryl Strong just kept playing and beat the guy 12-10. Lesson learned.
40 power.
Something like that. But lesson learned. So, should I give my opponent a mercy point? I don't know about that. Now, Jamaica, Sunshine Girls, netball team. I see now that we're putting an English girl, her name is Rhea Dixon, in the Sunshine Girls team. She's not by any means an outstanding English girl. Like most English people who want to come here, she's a discard, right? She didn't make the team for England. Yeah. She play like a club ball. She have some average stats and thing there. But our new coach for Sunshine Girls is saying that the girl is an addition to the team. And we're going to fit her in at goal attack or at goal shooter. It's almost like we're finding a place to put Miss Dixon in the team because she's an English girl. And I'm saying, what an injustice is this? But you know, the philosophy Jamaica now is that anything come out of England must better than anything come out of Jamaica. Because I call it the Hall Grimson effect. I call it the Hall Grimson effect because Mr. Hall Grimson shares that philosophy, in my opinion. Because we seem to be raiding the Englishman dumpster and putting in, listen, this was not supposed to be a controversial episode, you know, but we're putting in these people into the national team simply because I come from England. England. I went and did some research. Rhea Dixon have a grandmother, for Christ's sake, a grandmother with Jamaican blood. That means to say, our father not Jamaican, our mother not Jamaican. Is the grand or great grandmother came over on the Windrush to England, and this 1/16 drop of Jamaican blood qualifies her for a Jamaica team. It's an embarrassment. We can do better than that. Okay, something less. Oh yes, no, I still going to beat your people. Jamaica is involved in 16 sports at the Pan Am Games, and we don't have a table tennis team at the Pan Am Games. I blame you, the coach. I blame you, the player. I blame myself, the fan. Jamaica must can get into the thing that we're playing e-games. We're playing, what else we're doing? Wrestling. We're doing all kind of things that don't take place in Jamaica. And we have not developed, we're at the point where we're not in the Pan Am Games table tennis. I think it's a disgrace. On the technology front, Nike make a shoes that win in every race nowadays, in a long distance race. It was called the Next Percent. Now them call it, well, I don't know what they call it. But the same shoes that broke the marathon record 2 years ago, I spoke about it on Primal, broke the record again last year. And now the latest version of those same shoes has broken the marathon record once again. Technology is we need some rules now that the shoes need to be uniform. We can't have a brand dominating rather than a runner. The brand of Nike shoes is like the shoes is running the race. Instead, I told you guys, I bought a pair of shoes myself. I went to bed with the shoes right beside me. Wake up next morning, the shoes were out by the door. The shoes it's like a machine, it's not a shoes. And what do you guys make of this chip that Djokovic have in his chest? And you guys think it's a joke, I'm joking. Djokovic has put a chip in his chest that is measuring his essentials and his vitals, and it's telling him when to cool it down and when to turn it up. And I think that's unfair. Ken, you have a chip in your chest? Sometimes I play a Ken once I want to you may well have a chip as well, but I don't think it's fair. And I need to talk about some non-sports things just to end the thing off. Where's the thing? I was listening about a song the other day, and I was listening to the lyrics of this song. Many are called, but the chosen few. Nothing in the world that you can't do. If you work hard, then you will pull through. Overcome. Whose lyrics are?
Wayne Marshall.
Wayne Marshall. Wayne Marshall got national honors the other day for his contribution to music, Order of Distinction. And it's a big controversy in Jamaica because, I was trying to make a list of artists more deserving than Wayne Marshall for national honors. I stopped after 500. I don't have Wayne in the top 500. How Wayne Marshall must get national honors? It's only 2 songs I know the man do. We have one about the new millennium with Cartel, and he has this song, which has beautiful lyrics. Overcome, youth, overcome. It's a beautiful lyric.
Marshall
but that alone,
town,
national honors, come on, man. Anyway, I want to tell you guys a little story I heard. I don't know if the story is true, but I'm going to tell a story. Seeing as I have the Primal mic, I hope I do justice to the story. So there's an airplane with 3 important people flying over the Blue Mountains, and the airplane developed trouble, and the pilot said, "Boy, this is going down, you know." But four people in there. So the pilot said, "This is going down," and him say, "Gentlemen, I have some bad news. Only 3 parachutes." So him say, "Gonna start it out." So the first man jump up and pick up a parachute. Him say, "I am Usain Bolt. I've earned 8 gold medals for Jamaica, and I'm a national hero. And I take in the parachute and I jump." The next man come up and he grabbed his thing and him say, "Well, I'm Andrew Holness, and I'm the Prime Minister of Jamaica, leader of the nation, preserver of law and order." And him jump. So the 2 people left now was a little schoolboy and Father Richard Holland. And the little schoolboy, Father Holland look on the parachute and say, My youth, I'm gonna make you jump in a schoolboy because you know, you have all your life in front of you. I'm 8 years old, Father Richard, how long? And the youth said, no, Father, hold on. There are 2 parachutes here. So you can get a parachute. So the man said, what happened? He said, the Prime Minister take up my backpack and jump. So that sports commentary. I think it's one of those dunce bags. That sports commentary, what say you?
I said one of the nuts bugs. Oh, hey, my people come for you, Peter. Hey, hey, cause yo that man, hey, but you see the feds come up on the studio. Oh boy, that one was good. Do you remember the 4 lines are open? 1-876-552-7406. That's 1-876-552-7406.
Yeah, that was a good
That's
one.
via WhatsApp only. Wow, that was a good one.
So many things you touch at, Peter.
Yeah, I don't even know which one to start at, but again, I have a touch on the OD, but we said we in Marshall 500 people, but I mean, I don't know anybody more deserving than Sanjaretti. We have to big her up. We have to big up Sanjaretti. My former coach, I always call her coach, she's my coach. One of my coach, junior coach is coming up and she helped tremendously in my career and she got the distinguished honors of OD, Order of Distinction. So, I mean, can't think of anybody more deserving than she to get that honor, not only for her playing career, but her contribution to the sport through umpiring, coaching, and I mean, longevity, a legend in the sport. So, I mean, big up Sanjaretti. If you're not hearing this, whoever know her, I can tell you, Kane Watson says so.
And
Big up
also
yourself,
current
coach.
national coach as well.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, she's still in the game.
yeah. Well, I mean, I'm not in the national setup, so I wouldn't know. So I touch on that next point where Peter says disappointed in you and disappointed in me and disappointed himself, but I don't see him disappointed in anybody else. Where the real disappointment lies.
Oh, yes.
The real disappointment lies in the association because I think they have shot themselves in the foot time and time again. This specific association, and I mean, yeah, I am no longer active in the sport at national level, but mark my words, I will be back, but I will not be playing under this association. So yeah, maybe later on in the future I'll represent at the Pan Am Games because I think I have the level the same way. I played earlier today and I mean, I still got it. I still got a little touch. Yeah. Still got a little left in the tank, but yeah. So to touch on Peter's point, nobody's representing Jamaica for table tennis at the Pan Am Championships, but we have to big up all the other disciplines there. We have 16 other disciplines and big up all the athletes there at the Pan Am Games. And later on, I mean, maybe next week or the week after, we break down the Pan Am Championship results across all disciplines. I mean, we have friends down there in the badminton, track and field, weightlifting. I mean, people that have come on this specific show as well. So we have to big them up on out there flying the flag high. I mean, sorry I couldn't be there, but I'm watching and rooting on because, you know, first and foremost, we're Jamaicans and we want to do well in every discipline, not just track and field or the reggae boys or the reggae girls, every discipline. I want to reach world-class level. And again, we have to invest in our sport, no matter which sport it is. And we see where, imagine, football is basically our national sport and look at the investment we put into it. We see we're doing big things now with the Jamaica Premier League and that is moving from strength to strength, making big strides there. But on a national level, again, GFF running like a party shop, basically. So, yeah, we have problems across all associations, but to the athletes out there representing, I mean, continue on. Some people might not see eye to eye with everybody. As I said, Peter touched on Bonishaw and, I mean, wanting to represent Jamaica. And I'm sure all the girls want to represent the country, but there has to be a line drawn, and sometimes we might go over it, or we toe the line, or we wait for the right time. But when is the right time to put your foot down? And then again, there's no wrong and right way, but how we approach it sometimes is demeaning to the sport, but yet still, I mean, as an individual.
Do you have options though?
Yeah, you have to put your foot down.
You probably take a route and it don't work, and you try again.
Because I remember being kicked off.
Honorable way.
I remember not representing Jamaica because I spoke out against the association in 2010. And not going to the CSC games. And at that point in time, I was considering not playing again. But luckily later on in the year, they had a trials I wasn't in intention. I was still playing around, but I was kind of demotivated. But I mean, my level got me through, and I made the team because I mean I was a top player at that time. And after that, going to that Commonwealth Games, I made a decision to just separate myself from the field and just took it to a next level. And even so, looking back, even at my career, when I was at the height of my career, I had problems with the association. And for me, when I was at my peak in 2013, I didn't get to represent the country none at all because of lack of funding, lack of sponsors, lack of not being entered. So, and I still persevered. And to this day, I represented at the 2022 Commonwealth Games last year. So, I mean, I understand athletes going through a rough patch and a rough career, and there'll be downs and there'll be ups, but we always want to see the best athletes go out there and represent the country.
And you touch on that point. At some point, well, maybe at every stop and every point you're gonna have a problem, but the problem cannot be basic, and that's the problem. That's a real issue. You're gonna always have problems. Even if you're doing well and really, there's always
that's life.
Small thing.
That's why I love sports.
Life. But you can't have, the problem cannot be basic. That's the real issue. It cannot be basic. And for the association, in terms of setting guidelines and standards and criteria, they need to make these things clear, because as you say, you didn't get a chance to represent the country. I remember one trials, they had some half a trials basis with these two guys, and then they're going to just select whoever they want to select at the back end. You need 4, they select the top 2, then they just arbitrarily come up with something. You know, that's a basic. It's a basic flaw. That's just downright wrong. You know what I mean? So we will have problems, but it cannot be so on the surface like that. It can't be. No.
Injustice, if you ask me.
Yeah, man, and touch on even the reggae girls now. What's going on?
What's going on with the reggae girls?
You know,
after
the girls refuse.
After achieving so much and at the high point of where female football in Jamaica can go to that next level, because not only qualifying for the World Cup, being competitive with top 10 nations in the world. I mean, we are right there to move forward. Just like look at Japan football now compared to the reggae boys, where in '98 we were better than them, and now Japan is destroying teams like Germany and USA and scoring goals.
Close to Japan, right?
I mean, so close. No, with the reggae girls, as you said,
they have a problem. I think the problem
will
is
that. Do you think
the head?
Do you think that will stunt the growth of the reggae girls?
Most definitely. Most definitely, because right now,
or the ones that are coming up now with the opportunity.
Yeah, right now for the Gold Cup, half the team is more than half the team is suspended.
I looked at the squad, and there's only one name that popped out on the sheet, and it was Marla Sweatman. Most of the other names were people that weren't at the World Cup. Yeah. So
the big issue is it's not Xavier Gilbert, because he
was an
assistant coach
to London.
Has been around long enough. I think he came due in terms of coaching from Excelsior days. He was my coach as a volleyball player from way back when, and he has been working with female football overall for years upon years. So I don't think it's just the hiring of Gilbert for these for the World Cup qualification. The problem is, I think, is maybe Donald's. I think the way they handled him, I think the girls, and that the money is scored.
Yeah.
Why you don't pay the girl and them bonus? People say they don't need the bonus, but
no, Peter is saying they can wait on it.
For how long?
Play on it.
No. For how long? Maybe it's an underlying issue. Maybe it's something that has been going on in terms of money and not getting paid on time and all this. Maybe them just said, "Oh, this is the end. We can't deal with this no more."
Yeah.
Maybe it's just that.
And it's no disrespect to the colors, no disrespect to the jersey, no disrespect to the fans, no disrespect to the public. And I'm sure these girls want to play, but where do you draw the line? Where do they stand up for themselves and be like, hey, you've been mistreating me for years, months.
The JFF has just been unprofessional and I'm tired.
Yeah, and you know, elections coming up, I mean, what better way than to put your foot down at this point in time? So, hey.
Yeah. But people, we want to touch this. We'll go back on this topic. So now we have Frog in 5. I'm not in studio here today, but he's somewhere out there. I see that look like an umbrella. I'm just joking. Our Froggy, you know, it's your time.
No, I'm not in the umbrella. Well, To be honest with you, I'm out there in Linstead and I was trying to bring Primal Sports to the streets of Jamaica right now. It's a Swagging 5 with a different view, different concept. And it's about me interviewing persons on a hot topic that Neill brought up. Technicality in sports and what sport is more technical or which sport is the mother or the family of all sports.
Yeah.
So I was get the views of some persons I see on the streets here about their sport, their favorite sport, what they like about the sport, and how difficult they think it is from any other sport out there that they know of. As I said, it's a fucking fight.
Get them on. Let them hear them.
Yeah,
You question them and ask them what do they think.
Well, I can ask them, but the background will be a little bit noisy, so just bear with me for a few while I get it done, all right?
All right, go ahead.
No problem.
Yeah.
Everybody want to attack me, but I'm
But
here to defend.
I'm sure most of these people, I'm telling you what they're going to say already.
Yeah.
It's football.
Yeah, football.
Because I don't think the regular Joe is knowledgeable on all the sports.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, being around sports people and playing sports.
Names, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to call names. Because I know you've been around different athletes and how they throw around disrespectful comments.
Yeah, man. Pro athletes asking if table tennis is even a sport. Yeah.
Froggy.
I'm right in. I'm here with Orion, which as I said, we're down the streets right now.
Right.
Some work. Mr. Orion, tell me, what's your favorite sport?
Favorite sport, cricket.
Cricket.
Yeah.
What you really like about cricket?
Really like about cricket. I used to play cricket myself, so I eventually born in a cricket.
Born in a cricket?
Yeah, I have a special love for cricket.
So you think it harder than any other sport out there?
No, it's not really hard. As long as you take hard training and dedication, it's not.
It's hard training and dedication, and that will get you through.
That will get you through.
That's something number down. Everything good. I go have a next one. Have a next one here.
What the sport? Once you have hard work and dedication.
Thank you, Neill. Neill. So we're here with
Master drinking soup.
My name is Esteban.
So we're there with Basketball now. I'm gonna ask him the same question. What's your favorite sport? Yeah.
Like football and
Football and what?
I mean like football and cricket.
Yeah, man.
Why?
You know what to say. You have too much. So just choose one of them. Any one of them. Football. What you love about football? You're nervous. You want to play, you're nervous. You love about football.
Why?
But that said, I don't want to tell me say, what you just love football. And Neill, I know you have a special love for the ladies, so we have two ladies here.
Deal alone, come on. The whole primal team. Hey, you can't leave out me and people.
One lady. Man at all? Come on, don't be shy. Come on, turn around, look on the camera. We have two nice guys here. Look on them, you know. Look on them. That's interesting. So we get two persons to give them viewers. As I say, you guys already know my view on this. Formula One has been my sport for a while. It's very technical. I'm not going to say it's more technical than any other sport out there.
Yeah.
But the technicality of it, it's really, really technical. You have a steering wheel comprises of more than 17 buttons, and each button you have to be pressing.
Yeah.
For different various points of the game, it's of the sport itself. You're losing pounds, kilograms per race time. During racing, you have to be rehydrating yourself throughout the race. Without rehydration, you'll be basically blacked out. And imagine you can't pit unless it's like 20 laps afterwards, depending on your tires. So it's technical in terms of teamwork, it's technical in terms of individual skill going on a track. But as I said, that is just basically my view on it. I said this is Primal team in the streets. We call it Primal Views. I'll be doing a series of these upcoming. There's something new. I'm trying it out, and it's just to get the Primal world out there, Primal sports and everything out there in the streets.
We're going to go straight to Cuba next.
All right.
Pick up yourself, Froggy. Yeah, man, that's
Aye.
something different with Froggy 5. One Primal there in Linstead, Ellinstead.
Yeah.
Representing out there.
Talking
And
about technicalities.
technicalities, boy. Yeah.
of Formula One.
Formula One.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy,
you know,
oh,
he's
boy.
need for speed, but
Yes,
yeah.
yes,
we need to
yes.
put a table tennis racket in, man.
Yeah,
And tell him go on the board and see how fast that ball go. Eh?
The fastest sport in the world, might I?
Yeah,
add.
the ball
Fastest
reaching like
sport.
in no
In
time.
terms of decision making, you know, it teach you how to assess and make quick decisions. You know, reflexes. You know, it is the mother sport. No matter how you want to argue it, you know, you can't get.
Everybody
around
have them
it.
views. I tell you to write that book, you know.
You definitely can't get around
can
it
co-author.
because you can't get around it Kim, because it's a sport that in terms of all the attributes and the elements that you need in other sports, this is the one sport that you have to be at the highest level in all different areas.
Seen as is the mother of all sports, why we don't take care of our mother in Jamaica?
You don't
We don't take care of anything in Jamaica.
The mother of all sports.
We don't take care of
it.
anything in Jamaica. I don't think it's table tennis alone.
You listen to the news.
Tell me.
We have no respect for mothers anymore, our grandmothers.
Yeah.
You don't see
Yeah,
what's
we
happening
respect
in the
ourselves.
streets. You don't see what's happening in the streets. It's an indication of the mentality of the people of Jamaica.
They don't even respect themselves.
It's a big indication. You get me? So
So
I
it's not
agree.
only on
We should
table
be-
tennis.
and I don't want you to put the blame at just me, you and Kane, right?
Oh, you saw that. That was
Yeah. Yeah, for table
We know
tennis
who
here.
really to blame, you know. We
No,
know
no,
who
no,
really.
and
No,
I
we
put-
know. Listen.
not just one
You know,
person,
it
though.
pains my heart. I must tell you guys
It-
this, you know.
it
And
hurts
by
me.
the way, I feel it when Sean and Neill is talking about the good old days and the fact that Jamaica used to have the respect of the region. And when you think about who took it down to where it took it, it's not the players that took it down, you know. There's something that happened, right?
And even so, how many of the players know about this 1983 feat? How many
Very few.
players know this?
Well, there have been even bigger feats, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
Stephen Hilton. Stephen Hilton
How many
beat
of the current
Michael
players?
Applegren. Hold on. Stephen Hilton beat Michael Applegren at the big US Open. When Michael Applegren was the top seeded man at the tournament.
Was
and
like
the
top in the world at the
third
time.
rank in the
In the
world,
world, yeah.
and European champion. Stephen Hilton beat him, you know. Little Stephen Hilton.
And how many persons that even involved in the sport know this?
No, well,
Even the
maybe
kids
book-
coming up.
Maybe
Even some of the seniors coming up.
maybe
Do
the
you
book
think they
needs
know
to be
this?
written. No, but the fact of the matter is,
I'm gonna dismiss.
So if we don't take care of the
I'm gonna
sport-
dismiss your argument. I
Yeah.
don't think it's just administration.
no, I didn't say it's administration.
Oh,
I didn't say it's just
think the players-
administration.
I have history.
Yes.
I have documents of players doing things that hurt the sport.
Oh no.
Locally
That's
and
true.
internationally.
That's true.
And I'm talking from in the 80s.
Yeah, man, we know that. We know that.
Yeah, and
we know
them
that.
helped for us to lose sponsorship.
That's also true.
Big sponsorship at
Yes.
the time. So I think it's a community. Largely, the man at the head is to be blamed.
Yes.
Or the woman, or whoever it is.
No. You make a
But-
good point about the players, and yes, some players have brought the country into disrepute. We
Of
agree
course,
with that.
of course.
I see where you're getting at, because I
Yeah.
remember when we were playing at YWCA. You ever played at YWCA?
Never.
Hilton's used to be
Too young for that.
When we used to play at YWCA, there were some players who, because of their behavior, we got kicked out of that venue. The same thing is true of Students' Union, and because of
By you in.
yes, several players, their behavior caused that. And then internationally, we can go on and on. We have been to championships where people have misbehaved. So you're right. It's not just an administrator
Yeah.
sort of thing. But I think that we need some visionary administration
Agree.
to
You have to move
think-
forward.
If you recall, Dale, last year I wrote a paper and I offered it to the association about a way to apply for a WTT tour. That's when the WTT was new. You remember that argument?
Yeah.
And had Jamaica moved at that time and applied for a WTT tournament, of which the tables would have come in free.
Yep.
The flooring would have come in free. That could have been the impetus or the seed to start TT in Jamaica. You remember that episode of Primal?
Yep.
And I had announced that I was going to.
That was
and-
during the COVID time.
Yeah.
Like to the
But
ending.
and still nobody listen. All people care about is where's the next food coming from.
Well,
Where's the
they're
next
hearing,
food?
but
Yeah.
they're not listening.
No.
They're hearing, but they're not listening.
So you think that table tennis needs some fresh legs?
It's not
Younger
fresh legs
and
alone.
innovative
Let me tell you
and
something.
people.
There are people here with knowledge. You have knowledge that you're not sharing, right? That means to say what you could potentially contribute to table tennis is not being
Not being contributed.
there's a man like Patrick Blake. There's never been a better team manager than Patrick Blake,
Yeah.
in my opinion.
Yeah.
But why is Patrick Blake never a team manager? Because different administrators want the trip. So we send a little man and we send a little man when the best manager is probably here.
That's all nowhere no Peter the trips. It's really
Of course, that's where we are. Of course, that's where we are. Of course, that's where we are. Of course,
That's
that's
how
where we
low
are.
it is.
Yes, man.
Trips and gears.
Yes. Trips and gear. Yeah, that's a fact. That's a fact.
That's a big,
When I see people, when I see people,
statement going
Well, let me tell you
I see
something.
people earn the spot
Eh,
and make it and
Yes.
get kicked off,
yes,
not going to Commonwealth Games
yes.
after being the #1 player
yeah,
and winning the trials and filling all the requirements.
the requirements.
And that helps sever ties with sponsors and associations out there.
Cause a
and
big problem.
Cause a big problem.
Big issue, big issue.
We represent the country so illustrious.
No,
to the-
but the fact, what I'm saying,
For-
what I'm
for-
saying
no,
is
for-
the resource exists. You see what Sean O'Neill said? Some millionaire guy retired and decided to contribute to a thing, and that's
we have
the,
that
the
here too
thing.
as well.
We that cannot near. It
Yeah.
cannot near.
I think we
There
have
are people.
know with that resort with the same
There
set.
are very wealthy people in Jamaica who would love to put something to TT,
Yeah.
but they need to see somebody. They need to have an administration they respect. Nobody's gonna give them money to somebody they don't respect.
Somebody
You know?
So
Goals and-
I am
Yeah.
even so.
Yeah.
Short and long.
Yeah, man.
I was even thinking of forming a ghost association,
Ghost.
working separately, apart from this association.
That's but
That's
I
what
mean,
I was brainstorming
the
to do.
truth is,
But the truth is, you still need.
You still need them because you have to have international.
you need
have to have
the
internet.
Yeah.
official mark, and therefore people must challenge and offer themselves up as an alternative.
People offer to help, but they're saying they're not going to do it to this association.
That's
and
true.
all of that.
That's true.
As I
And it's
said,
a
wealthy
pity.
persons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because of the accountability level
True.
of persons in the association.
true.
And not just table tennis, because as I said, people go for trips. People do this because of that.
Well-
as I say, it's in the JFF. It's in the basketball.
I must
it's in
say,
every
as
association.
a super fan though, I'm a super fan, no matter what.
Yeah, you love
it.
it.
It hurt me.
You
love the
It
TT.
hurts me to hear Sean O'Neill talk about where he thinks Jamaica should be, or where in Jamaica in his mind. You
Was
know?
at the time, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on the
And because
competitive-
I know that it's doable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see any less talent now. As a matter of fact, Kane Watson is vastly superior and technically and talent-wise to those players from that went before.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I played the whole of them, you know, I know
Just
that.
be prepared for your
No.
phone to be blown.
No, but Kane,
But I agree.
Dale,
No.
I played the whole of them.
I said this before you.
Yeah.
Peter, don't jump
There-
on
there's
the
no-
wagon.
yeah, there's-
Peter, I was the one who came
No,
in your
no.
office 3 years
Actually,
ago.
can I tell you
saying that
something?
Kane is technically the best player.
Can I
in
tell
the
you?
Caribbean.
Can I tell you something?
Right? Don't
You
have
might not
anything
know
on
this.
your speed and
You
all
might
that.
not know this.
No, but I told you.
You
Peter,
might not
don't
know
take
this.
credit
You
for
might
it.
not know this. I told him.
After
No. Yeah, let me tell you something. You see the evaluation is no.
Yeah.
I played the whole of them, you know.
Yeah.
And I know the challenge they present.
Of course.
And I'm saying that two-winged, modern attacker offense from both sides of the table, ability to feel and all that is near. All him have to do is lose those 25 pounds. Yes.
That's easy. That's
I
easy.
agree.
I'm in my
I agree.
off-season, people, but
I agree and disagree with you.
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
don't think there's more talent now. I absolutely disagree with you. But I agree in terms of Kane, in terms of the technical ability. Without a doubt. Can make a shot off the ball, a winner off the ball.
Yeah.
From any angle.
on both
Those
flanks.
players on both sides. So those players back then couldn't do that.
No, they couldn't.
Michael was just forehand.
They,
Didn't have the other
no, they
side.
couldn't. The answer is no, they couldn't.
Obviously,
But we don't need to bring that up now.
Yeah. But I do agree. But I don't think there's more talent. No, it's not possible. It's absolutely not.
I'm
possible.
not saying on the broad because we have
And
we have
people, these are people that when they meet me around the table, they try to beat me up. So don't think they're doing it just to toot my horn. They're coming at me with full force. So to hear this from them is not just because
But somebody
I'm the
wants me to
co-host.
speak up something real quick, guys.
Yeah.
Table tennis is now back in the universities, and Taylor Hall.
That's good.
The hall they had inter-hall games today.
That's good.
Organized by a player, Andrew Leslie.
Yes.
I just wanted to big that up because I think that it's important that table tennis get back into.
Is this the association that's doing it, or
No, it's
What
an
do you
individual from Taylor Hall.
What do you think?
From Taylor Hall, sorry, it's an individual on campus. A student
is it? Yes.
organize this inter-hall table tennis because table tennis have been dormant for what past 3-4
But
years.
it's funny, deal. It's funny because
but
what?
big them up.
Yes, yeah, no, big them up. All credit to them. But
Because we
last
need
week,
back
last
table
week there was a
tennis.
tournament as well that was done by somebody private. Why are we doing all this private development? We have an administration that is taking money from the SDF and from whoever else. They're taking money to administer TT, and yet we're seeing private people running private league and
Basically
private
one
this.
tournament for the year, which
Yeah.
is nationals.
Why is that? Is that the
For the
structure?
past 3-4 years.
Is that the right structure?
No,
You're
it
asking me,
isn't.
Peter?
Yeah, you're national
I'm a
coach.
part of the
Yeah.
association.
Is you fighting the people?
Come on here.
No, I'm not fighting.
He's a
the
double
people, but-
agent. He's a double agent.
But things happening, and we haven't heard much. So obviously they're trying to prepare certain things for elections. So let us just.
And
leave it at
I'm
that
also
for now.
willing-
Elections?
Yes,
And I'm also willing
yes.
to help the sport.
How many months now we talking about elections there?
Check the record. Check back the
It's
check
long
in on
overdue.
Primal.
Let's put it that way. But I think they have some complication and they're working it out. In order for the sport to move forward, we need to have the election and then we need to start fresh from zero.
You remember that dance they used to call Take For Yourself?
Yeah.
You remember that dance?
Yeah, I know the dance.
I know we in match that signal what they do.
You can do that
Yeah, I
dance?
know the dance.
You can do that dance?
No, not so good still.
Yeah,
I'm
used
broke
to.
up. We can do broke
You
up
need to
still.
teach somebody to compare to take for themselves.
But even so, touch on another table tennis point that Peter mentioned, and I want to ask your opinion. What do you think of the mercy point? If you're a student, if your student had somebody 10 love, what would you tell him?
No, yeah, we have to put it in context. Here I deal with it. It cannot be 2-all and I am up 10 love. The fact that you reach 2-all, you're capable of beating me.
Yeah.
So that's a big mistake on that coach's part. If you look at the player and it's obvious that the player cannot play, and my student would have known that the player cannot play.
Not at that level, not at that equal, yeah.
Yes, it
Because
is fine.
anybody can get to
But
level
there's
up.
no way you could be 2-all. Of course, give them a level up.
No, okay.
It's 2-all because the fact that you win a set, that indicates
So
that
you're
you can
saying the
win.
mercy point is situational?
That's what I'm saying. You have to take it in depending on the
I've
the
gotten a
opponent.
level up before and I've given a level up before.
Exactly my point.
But it depends on who. If I have a grudge match with somebody,
You have to-
We've had a few grudge matches.
no, but even so, no, there's respect. There's respect between us. Where I think that if the situation arises and I have a 10 love lead,
Me not give you a level
I
up.
wouldn't give you a
I'm
level.
not giving you.
I would not give you a level.
I respect my opponent, and I'm not giving you a level up.
Once
I would not give a
they're
level.
on the level,
Yeah,
close
yeah.
or above, them getting it. I find it ridiculous.
Yeah,
Just play to the finish. So what if you get a level up? What's
No,
the
you're
big
saying
deal?
I-
if the player is really inferior, you don't want to embarrass them. That's different.
Yes.
But if a player can play, take a level up. Take
maybe
a level
so.
up. That's what I think. Take a
if
level
I
up.
had you 10 love in that tournament, I wouldn't give you a
That
level
Sri
up.
Lankan guy would never forget that. for the rest of
He
his
saw
life.
me in Commonwealth Games and thought I was Darren.
that you
And
were
I'm
there?
wondering why this guy.
Tell
looking-
you, tell you.
Yeah, and then later on in the tournament, he realized it's not me, and then come up to me and say, "Oh, Jamaica, you
Yes,
you
yes.
are in. I think
Guangzhou.
I think it was China. So you were in
Yes.
China. I said no. I said, oh, that was my teammate. He said, oh, I thought it was you.
Yes.
And then I realized that's why he's looking at me like that.
Yeah.
I was like, yo, I steal his
Man,
this
I
man
eyeball
is
you.
Card for life.
Man, I wonder if I steal this man woman
Yeah,
or
yeah.
something. It's like, man, what the woman do? I'm like, this guy looking at me like
No,
this game.
hey, the coach interrupt the game, you know. It was Fetzner. Stefan Fetzner was the coach from Germany.
The man scared for life. I see him after that. I see him multiple times, and him always give me a look at nod. But
Yeah.
It's like he must say, "Yo,
Memories,
Jamaica."
boy.
Every time he see the Jamaica shirt, or Jamaica flag,
You
it's like
remember
the
the
man
match?
have nightmares.
A famous match, right?
Yeah.
It was 10 love, right?
Yeah, it was 10
I
love.
think it was 10 or 9,
He
I
was
don't know.
leaving 10. No, man, he was
10.
10 love.
Well, you were
and,
there
and
still.
Fetzner was interrupting and say, oh,
Give Darryl
give
that
him the point.
I'm doing an
Yeah,
next
and he
point.
gave Darryl, he said, huh?
Legendary.
And give Darryl the
And let me
point.
tell you something.
Yeah.
Sometimes when Darryl get going, him get going.
Yeah, man.
Well,
That-
apparently he got
that
going
big
that
player,
match.
man.
He
Yeah.
got going that match.
When
Yeah.
him on the bounce, then him
Yeah.
get going.
Yeah, man. When Darryl start, it's like, and you can't pass him because he's close to the table.
Yeah, and the market on the
It's the
bounce.
mercy point, man.
Yeah, but it depends on who. Because as I said, I remember getting a level up from this before. But I gave him level up before that, and he hold me back and give me a level up. I'm like, yo. I give him in a club league.
Yeah.
And the man hold me after that. I'm like, yo. And then I remember losing a match. I remember losing a match before I was national champion.
Yeah.
I lost one of my most hurtful losses. It was a big money tournament, and I lost that match, and I sat down. I lost the reasons, but I don't like making excuses. Whatever the reasons, I lost a close match, and then I played that player. Every time since I played that player, it's like I just
Vexation.
And I remember holding that player one trials up by stadium,
Yeah.
and up 6 love, 7 love.
Yeah.
And I say, Kane,
You're trying to give him.
when I reach 10, you know what serve it. The bread and butter. And I tell him, I forgive my level up. Yeah, because it's a chatty mode too. And then
Yeah.
I did eclipse that loss.
Yeah.
Turn me into a monster. So I have to thank him for that loss. And then him push me now to where I'm like, I can't be losing to this guy. I have to separate myself. You
Yeah.
know himself. I won't give you the credit to call his name. I mean, you know. But yeah, you forget it, man. So I mean, as I said, situational.
Yeah, man, I sure Peter have Marlon 10 love.
No.
If Peter have Marlon 10 love, there's no mercy point.
I always give a mercy point.
If you like Marlon a mercy point.
I would. Out of respect.
Because
I
of
would.
Marlon? Marlon have potential for win
Number one in the world.
100 points in a row
I
against
true
me.
that.
And me up 10, me up
But I respect, to be honest with you, I respect him, and I would have to give him. If it's in by accident, I got the 10.
Marlon can win 100 points straight against me, and I am up 10.
I'm going to tell you one more. Let me tell you one more. Let me tell you one more level of story. I was in Chicago, Killer Spin, and I was playing this Indian guy who was a pro. When I shouldn't give details, but I was playing superbly well against this guy, and the guy was one of Killer Spin pros, right? And for some reason, I went up 9 love and then 10 love. So the guy served to me, and I was trying to hit the ball away to lose the point. And I did a shot that I've never been able to replicate. You can do that shot. The guy got wet on the edge of the table, and I hit the side of the ball like a Chiquita. And the ball came on, it went around the net. I hit the table, and the crowd went, oh, because the shot looked arrogant. I was trying to lose the point. And guess what now? That guy was supposed to drive me home. so when we were driving, he was dropping me back to where I was staying in Chicago. Silence. We were silent the whole drive. The man was quiet like so. The only thing we said was, I think it's outside here. So I said, okay. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And I was trying to lose the point, you know?
Yeah. Awkward.
Well, we've been in many battles. As I said, it's a case where it's like you're playing football. You have to get salad and pile.
Yes.
Sometimes
it happens to everybody.
It happens to everybody.
I see videos of, there's a man who salad Messi. There was a match where Messi salad everybody, and this guy kick an accidental one through Messi salad.
Yeah, so
very embarrassing, but.
All right, so we're gonna move on from the TT talk. And
we have
about
about 3 minutes left. Come in, look how time flies. Because
all right, so the world know that Xavier Gilbert is now the head coach.
Yes,
he's now the head coach. I don't know, maybe it's for a couple of games or just for the.
I think it's for the 2 upcoming matches.
I think it's only for the 2 upcoming matches.
So we hear rumors of
Wednesday Downs. Well, I think his name is.
They tried to get
good coach.
I know him.
A coach out of England, but it fell through. But the position, I think, is still vacant.
Yeah.
I don't think they will hire Xavier Gilbert full-time. But right now, he's in the position. He was out of the Lon Damson team, so he has experience with these girls. And, I mean...
So you think this is going to be a case just like in Spain where they got rid of Holger, but we don't have that luxury though.
I mean, you never can tell. You can start drop some girls from England.
It's a mistake for these girls to withdraw.
Yeah.
Gold Cup leads to something else. That's how football is now.
They still have opportunity to qualify for the Olympics as well, even though they lost to Canada. I think there's another.
There's a pool thing that's going to take place.
Yeah.
But I don't like the idea of the reggae girls being so strident because they had taken a stance one time and gotten rid of a coach.
Yeah.
And now
you guys hear me? I'm here. I'm still here, man. Peter, just sorry to interject your word. I'm going to differ. I'm going to not agree with you on that one.
Okay, go ahead.
Reason why is because I think the JFF and the girls has been going at it back and forth. And I think the girls have been waiting, they have been appreciative, they have been doing what they have to do, and they have hold out for a while. So at the end of the day, if something is due, there's conflict between them and the JFF consistently, no matter what. They have done their part on the field and off the field. They have quelled things, they have done what they needed to do. Now there are a lot of changes within the structure of the team. Show coaches out for whatever reasons. And now money need to be paid over, you're not giving them the money, but you still want them to compete. I think at some point in time, you have to look at it and say, hey, it's not just about playing for your country and representing a country, but this is also a job for them. So playing and being a part of the national program. If you have money for them, give them the money.
Froggy, I have to disagree. And I'll tell you why I disagree. Ken, you ever, how much money you earn playing for Jamaica?
Not much.
The answer is 0. How much money have you earned playing for Jamaica? Representing a country is more than working for your country. You're not working for your country, you're representing your country. Yeah. I never worked a day for Jamaica. I represented Jamaica many times with honor, pride, and all these things. I see myself as representing the 2.5 million. I am the creme de la creme of Jamaica. You understand what I'm saying? I am the guy. When there's a line of people, I'll ask anybody this. I see myself as the keeper of the keys, the defender of the city. When people come and beat us at football, it must be that our best players were beaten by so-and-so. It's sad to go and lose a match and hear that the players are protesting something. We're bigger than that, right? These players not struggling for food money and lunch money and all this kind of thing. Khadija Shaw play for Manchester City, right?
So you want them to set that precedence of representing without getting paid?
No, I want them to, when they get the opportunity, to say that we have not been paid. We are playing, but we haven't been paid. We are playing.
Okay.
But when you go, when you go and don't play the Gold Cup, and then our team is marginalized, and Jamaica then find itself in the dumpster, playing first round of a tournament against the top seed instead of playing the semifinals, simply because we have damaged our thing. It took Kane Watson years to be in the top 8 of the Caribbean or the top 16, you know. And if Kane skylark and then finds himself in a group with the 2 Cubans, simply because him was protesting something, and then afterwards it seems as he's not good enough to make the quarters. He's not good enough, and him well and good enough. That's what I'm saying. You're damaging your country's standing.
I don't believe that, because at the end of the day, you know, we can't look at what they're making outside of representing the country. A lot of them are not necessarily making any money. Most of them not even playing club football like that.
Froggy, is there no way to defend oneself other than to strike? Is there no way to have, is there no way to have a debate other than to draw a gun? Because that's the problem with Jamaicans, you know. Every time, no sir, every time we have a debate in Jamaica, it ends in gunshot. I was saying it last week that many of our relationships start off with flowers and end up with gunshot. And worse than gunshot, they end up with crocodile teeth.
Remember, they played for games already, you know, without being paid, you know.
And they should pay a couple more. And they should pay a couple more. How many times? Hold on. In the Bible, when they went to Jesus and said, Father, how many times should I forgive my neighbor? And the Lord said, and we end the show on a religious note, 70 times 7. You should forgive your brother. And if my neighbor strikes me on my cheek, what do I do? And the Lord said, turn the other cheek.
But I can say this, Peter, they have to pay me 70 times 7 too, you know. Pay me 70 times 7 as well.
Well,
and I'm sure
you won't get paid.
You won't get paid. And as a matter of fact, a lot of people might lose their international card because they're not playing football. Damari Gray timed it perfectly. Come to Jamaica, score 2 goals, excite the Arabians, and him gone at Dubai. Tell me that would have happened if him did stay at Everton. Occasionally playing, and would he be getting that Abu Dhabi? Is Abu Dhabi him gone or Saudi Arabia? Where him gone?
Saudi.
Right? Playing for your nation is worth something.
All right, guys.
Just wait good.
We're gone a little over.
I'm sorry.
Froggy, wrap up time. You know, we'll close off now.
Yeah, we never even touch on the reggae boys because we defeated Haiti earlier in the week. With goals from Leon Bailey, Shamar Nicholson, and Demar Gray.
We're looking forward to play Canada, right?
Canada on November 17th and 21st. Number 17th. November 17th will be in the office, so that will be a home match, and then November 21st will be the away match. That's the next international window. So we look forward to that. We'll touch more on that later on in weeks to come. I mean, NBA starting this week, gentle people. On Tuesday, we have 2 mouth-watering matches on NBA. I mean, we're looking forward to the NBA season. So next week, we have some basketball to talk about, more football. You know what I mean? So, yeah. We wrap up the show. I want to big up and give thanks to Sean and Neill for taking the time out.
Oh, yes.
For coming here on Primal Sports.
Great guest. Thank you, Sean.
And doing big things over there in US from the 70s to now. And continue to give back to the sport. And as I said, 5-time US national champion. Big up, Sean and Neill. Yeah.
I'm your host, Dale.
I'm Kane the Schwab Watson.
I remember the controversy, boss.
All right. I want to big up the listeners out there on Fit FM 96.7, the Primal 4K app, YouTube, Facebook, Wallivout, to the world.
Yeah.
I mean, one love from the Primal Sports section. Up next is DJ Teach Them. I mean, stay tuned.
Must have to reach them.